because I think the statue goes down in the
Yeah.
next 5 years. Okay,
Yeah.
so Mookie's Philadelphia Eagles chiming in at 22nd at $2.65 billion. Sounds like a profitable move made by the great Jeffrey Lawyer. I'm also waiting for this list to come out next year to see how much the Super Bowl has enhanced the value of your Philadelphia Eagles, but we say no on a sale there. Chris says that there's a chance that the Chicago Bulls at $2.6 billion could possibly sell long-term owner Jerry Reinsdorf. The Broncos. So the deal with the Broncos is they were long owned by the Bowlen family, long time Pat Bowlen and his wife. Unfortunately, Pat and now his wife have been diagnosed with Alzheimer's disease. So the daughter is taking the daily operations over with the team. And Sports Illustrated wrote a pretty interesting article about the rise of women owners. And either through marriage or through family, you know, they're making a rise. We got the lady Kim Pagula up in Buffalo. We have Tom Benson's daughter taking over operations in New Orleans, for example. So I think the Broncos have a chance to sell. Dolphins, I don't think so. Stephen Ross is the richest owner in the NFL, one of the more progressive owners, and yeah, I don't think that he is one to sell. And we skip down to number 36, the Brooklyn Nets, worth $2.3 billion, a 28% jump from the previous year. Your boy Prokhorov, still in charge. Did not get that championship in the first 4 years like he desired. Somewhere, Billy King, man, good Lord, man. But they're worth $2.3 billion, and there's a chance they could be sold. You know, just merely because Prokhorov is done here. But Chris said there's a chance they could go for, what'd you say?
I'll say about 4 or 5.
Four or five? And is that what we're looking at with the next, because we're going to skip the $3 billion because your the Clippers went for 2. The Milwaukee Bucks went for a nice sum, but I'm talking about most recently, the Rockets. They went for 2.2. So we're going to go from 2.2 to a full 4. We're going to skip 3?
Market.
You think the market jumps that fast?
Also, the enticing offer of saying, hey, I'll pay just to move my team. Because look, man, I think the Brooklyn thing was more of a publicity move. It brought Brooklyn basketball, nice stadium, nice arena. At the time, of course, we're going to laugh at Billy King now, but when you brought over Paul Pierce, KG, you resigned then the hottest free agent, Deron Williams. You brought in a lot of pieces, and you were thinking, like, this is the future. And then all of a sudden, 2 years later, it's like, uh-oh, we screwed up the franchise. And to me, they're in a big market. And think about this with the Knicks. I get it, the Knicks are a different level, but the Knicks don't have issues selling tickets.
No, they don't.
Brooklyn Stadium is pretty much empty, from what I've always told. Like, they're not even, that nice arena doesn't have any fans in it. And to me, I think that becomes an issue. Like, I thought, to me, the marketing for that team was bad. I thought it was cool that they work on Brooklyn Nets, but I always thought that they should have been New Jersey. I thought they should have went back to the original. Like, if Seattle goes back to being Seattle, they should not be nothing else but the Sonics.
Don't you boy Clay Bennett does he own the Sonics logo and is that still?
I think he would give up.
He would give it up if we get basketball to Seattle. Okay, one of the more interesting teams on this list as we wind this particular subject now, is the New York Mets. Yeah. They chime in at $2.1 billion. I was telling Mookie before the show that the owner, Fred Wilpon, was caught up in that Madoff, as in he lost a nice chunk of his fortune with the Bernie Madoff fiasco. I think they could sell. And it's not the Yankees, but I don't think the Mets will go under $4 billion, like Chris talks about. The market. Even though baseball is sliding in popularity, it is still one of the more profitable machines out here, okay? We talk about how local TV contracts basically make, 162 days of programming for a baseball team a very, very lucrative deal. Do you think the Mets could go for like $4 billion, $4.5 billion?
I'm going to say yeah, but the thing that they do have in their favor, nice new stadium.
Yes.
The thing, unlike most, like, NFL teams that suffer being in California together, is you always play second fiddle. And, like, I'll give you an example. So, like, for instance, even in Texas, no matter how great Houston, Texas is going to be, they're
Sacramento.
going to be the little brother to the Cowboys. I mean, like look at like for instance the Oakland Raiders. They've tried for years, or I'm sorry, Las Vegas. They've tried for years to compete with the Niners. They couldn't do it because at the end of the day, the fan base, the California is known for the 49ers. And to me, the Mets are the one rare team, even though the Yankees are the most polarizing baseball team, they don't fight for that. Because from what I've always seen from Mets fans, they're always packed no matter what. I mean, look, every once in a while they get a competitive team here and there. And I think it's a nice baseball market. That would be interesting because I wonder would they change not just from being New York to being something else.
Nah, you know, the great friend of the show, Dallas Penn, wants them to be called the Kings County Mets after the, you know, Kings County for Queens where they're located. I think it's interesting you brought up the football part, the franchise part in Texas, because on break we was talking, could Texas support a third professional football team? And we're like, yeah, except for the part where McNair and Jerry Jones is like, hell no. Okay? They're like, no, you're not infringing on our turf. Because for the most part, San Antonio's cowboy country, right?
Well, when they did that training camp down there and sold out, it was massive. It was
Right.
like California massive. And they were like, Jerry opened up a can of worms with them. Like,
And over the years, the Cowboys have had a week or 2 weeks worth of practices or training camp in San Antonio. And, you know, as Chris said, they attract big crowds. You know, more sort of like crosstown beef. Do you know that the Nationals and the Orioles have never done a trade with each other? And also, the Nats claim cheapness, or they claim there's some of their cheap ways in terms of paying managers and certain players is derived from the fact that the Orioles owner, Peter Angelos, hogs a lot of the TV revenue. So it's hard for the Nats to compete there. So there are some business aspects to like bringing a third NFL team to Texas, but
and you mentioned that.
you know, the Mets. I still think in a two baseball town, the Mets could still go for some top.
And I know you mentioned some teams that, or like cities that could use teams. I'm thinking, man, we're going to probably end up getting a Montreal team back.
Was Rob Manfred, the commissioner?
He's wanting that.
He mentioned Montreal. He mentioned again. I forgot what area in Virginia he was talking about. He mentioned Portland.
Yeah, because like,
as a site because he wants to expand 2 more teams so he can expand the playoffs.
why not Las Vegas?
I don't know. Look,
Because look, man, we already look.
you halfway there.
I'm really on the note for saying this. In 10 years, we're gonna have a basketball team in Las Vegas.
So if we go expansion in NBA, one has to be Seattle. That's automatic, right? And then the other, you think Vegas? Because look, Vegas has 2 sports teams now. I know there's been a deep dive study on the success of the Golden Knights their first year there as part of how pro teams are a viable entity in Vegas, and it looks successful. The Raiders will be there soon, and I think you're right, Chris. A pro basketball team will be there.
And let's give love to the ladies too, the Aces. They sell out that stadium.
The Los
Vegas
were they the former Spurs?
The Spurs,
The Silver Stars.
Yes.
Okay.
And look, that team, they got a marketable player, Asia Wilson. They got a nice team over there, and I think that they sell tickets. By the way, you might want to take a guess who their head coach is, former NBA player?
Is it Bill?
Bill Laimbeer.
Bill Laimbeer.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. So they got marketed, and like, think about it. When you go to Vegas, Vegas is more of a tourist city anyway. But like, we all went to Vegas together right now. We'll probably be like, hey man, let's go catch that game or something, you know? And look, there you go.
I agree. And look, the thing on Vegas also is when you have 8 Raider home games, look, the opposing team's fans are going to make that a full weekend. And I think that has the possibility of lasting a pretty long time. Okay, let's jump into some baseball notes and we'll get a couple of quick hit thoughts across the room. Move. Cards got rid of Mike Matheny. Too soon, too late, right on time.
Right on time.
Cardinals looking to miss the playoffs possibly for the 3rd year in a row. Your boy Matheny out here putting snitches in the clubhouse. The Cardinals fandom was tired of his. Listen, as a Major League Baseball manager, you really got one responsibility: handle the bullpen, and that was Mike Matheny's worst trait as a manager. But when you start employing snitches out and sort of to haze your young rookie, we're talking about Bud Norris being dispatched to report on the behavior of teammates, especially one Jordan Hicks, the flame-throwing youngin, for the Cardinals. It was time to go. Chris, right on time? Too soon? Too late?
attrition, and I think it was too late. I thought this should have happened a year ago. Look, I know we all make fun of the Cardinals' way, but they're a team in the division where it's pretty much open. Not naming the Cubs, of course. That was the open division, and to me, I don't see why they couldn't get a wild card or be in tops. You got talent on that team. Now there's an unhappy Dexter Fowler for some odd reason. He went from like loving it to hating it. I like
In the first year of his contract.
Yeah, Carlos Martinez, I like him. He's a young flamethrower, but he has to work on his control. Man, we've seen like weird things with that. They were never the same when they lost La Russa, I think a lot of that went away. They seemed reckless, like you said. Matheny's biggest issues was something that Ron Washington suffered from. A lot of different guys suffer from is with that bullpen. You don't know how to manage some guys, and you're gonna have a world of trouble. And to me, unfortunately for him, he's not like Girardi or some of those guys that had success. He had his success, but man, we're talking about 3 years and no playoffs. What is that? In St. Louis?
Yeah.
Like, look, man,
That's
like,
an eternity.
Like, yeah, that's an eternity for St. Louis. So I think it was too late, but I would like to see what they're gonna do going forward.
I agree, and I think that longtime Cardinal Jose Oquendo, a catcher from the team in the 80s, the World Series winning team in the 80s, should be given a chance as well.
Watch out for Mark McGuire, too. Current hitting coach.
Okay, what say it? Martin David McGuire. Albert Pujols, ladies and gentlemen, Mookie's Anaheim, California Angels, still sitting with 3 years and $87 million remaining on his contract, which will cover years 39, 40, and 41. Mookie. Albert Pujols is sitting at 631 career home runs. Okay, so by my math, he is 69 home runs away from 700. Okay,
Gronkowski number.
Real Gronkowski number, which basically means if he averages 33 home runs, not even include what he hits this season, 33 home runs per year for the next 3 years. Now, granted, 39, 40, and 41. And I will make the joke that, yes, that is Albert Pujols' listed age, okay? Listed.
We don't know.
Hey, that's what I'm saying. That's what we are listing him as. What are his chances of getting to 700, Chris?
I think one thing that he has, I think we laugh at the contract, but he's a very good disciplined hitter. He hasn't had to change his swing through the course of time.
He just lost power due to injuries and time and stuff.
I think if you put him in a situation where he's part-timing, maybe a situation where he goes to a different stadium. Like, think about it. What if he were, I know they wouldn't do this, but like if he played in like here, or even Houston Astros.
Right.
If the Astros say, you know what, we can use your bat like we did Carlos Beltran on the championship run. I think that increases him. Like, think about it. That increases his playability. He can't play the field anymore. You don't want him doing that. So I think in a good DH situation, and with the MLB considering this whole thing with the DH all around, I think he has a chance. I don't know about the 700 because, like you said, 40, 41, yeah, bro.
So
let's get you on like some.
Give us a realistic number of where you think he will finish career home runs wise.
I would say around 660.
660.
I think I give him a couple of years of 15 and 20, and it just depends on what happens with him, on what situation are the Angels in. The Angels are in a situation where they're competing at a different level and different, but I think that Houston will be a good run for him.
All right, so he has a full no trade clause, by the way. Okay, so he can, and he will be at, let me see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. In the last year of his deal, he will be a full 10-5 player, so he can veto any trade. But I think that's like worse than the full no trade. So yeah, he ain't going nowhere, Jack. Mook, this is your boy. This is your account. Career home run projection for Albert Pujols.
I think he probably get like 680.
Okay. So about 50 more home runs over the next 3.5 years?
I don't think he gets the 700. I mean, like Chris said, like if he's like in a DH situation, like that'll probably be the best bet for him.
But I think Chris makes a great point about like where he does the DH. Because he's doing the DH in like Tampa or even Houston, like Chris said, or even here. Like, so Rangers Ballpark opens up in 2020.
Yeah.
All that good AC, indoors,
Short field.
It could be a chance, but I wonder what the chances are that he changes team.
And that's what I'm about to say. You got to think about, do he want to leave,
Well, I got a scenario there. See, we can retract the story, but there was a story years ago where he mentioned he wanted to become an MLB manager.
Okay.
What tells you this all season if St. Louis comes and says, you know what?
Player manager?
Or
Or
he
just
could just be a
manage it?
flat out man. Like, hey, you have to walk away from this money somehow. We'll figure out something.
I don't think he walks
Yeah,
away from the money.
Yeah, but you don't think for him, like his Hall of Fame legacy will be, man, if he got to like St. Louis and they like started winning, he wins a championship as a player once was there, and then as a coach or manager.
But he could be a manager after he get that $81 million.
I thought you was going to the player manager thing where you just have to combine. Like he makes $28 million next year. You had to combine that in his player manager deal. Like combine, you make $28 million. Here's a couple of interesting bonus clauses in his contract. He got $3 million for getting his 3,000th hit. If he surpasses Barry Bonds as the home run king, he gets another $7 million. This says annual award bonus. So if you just get an award,
You get
any
money.
award,
You get money.
$875,000. $50,000 for making the All-Star team, $70,000 for a Gold Glove, a Silver Slugger, or a League Championship Series MVP. World Series MVP gets him $100,000. He wins a regular season MVP, $500,000. Second or third, $75,000.
Yeah, between those awards, the only one that he can even get to is probably Silver Slugger.
And he gets that Nolan Ryan $10 million personal services contract paid after the playing contract expires. So Pujols is paid, Jack, and I don't think he gets to 700, but I wonder how long he hangs around to try. I really do. All right,
Probably last year's contract.
we got MLB. Got some deals going on. Yanks helped both the bullpen and the starting rotation acquire couple of quality lefties. Zach Britton from the Elves, and they get Jay Happ from the Torontos.
I like it.
The Sox get former Yankee pitcher Nathan Eovaldi from the Tampa Bay Rays, and fresh off his suspension. So you know when people get suspended for performance enhancing drugs, and we're all up in arms about like, how dare you do this?
Then you find out what it really was.
Yeah, and or the fact that they feel like you won't be rewarded anymore, or whether if you get rewarded, it's a problem. Your man Familia, Juris Familia of the Mets, who was suspended, I think, last year. No, it was 2 years ago, because he had got like the quote-unquote lifetime ban.
Yeah.
He came back, pitched for the Mets, and now for the resurgent A's,
Which I watched in person. Very
he
good.
is now their closer.
Yeah.
So the A's get Juris Familia. Yanks also lose Aaron Judge on a hit by pitch. Broken wrist, out at least 3 weeks, or he can't swing a bat before a 3-week period of time. Yanks are 6 games out of first.
That's a bad situation.
They've got 4. I think they got like 4 games in hand. So like the Sox have played 4 more games. Yankees have had a couple snows, a couple postponements because of weather. Chris, these deals or any other particular deals catch your eye?
I like the Yankees deal.
Okay.
For Britton to have. Man, you talking about a bullpen with Dylan Betances. You talk about with Rollins Chapman. That is a strong bullpen. Now, excuse me for my language, but the shittiest part about all this is this. Man, the Red Sox going on another big win streak. They're a wild card team. They're literally going to be in a 1-game playoff where all this goes downhill if they lose. I think for them right now with Aaron Judge, Clint Frazier's not happy. So you're going to have to figure out something about the outfield situation,
Also, real quick, Yanks just get starter Lance Lynn from the Twins.
which is a good move. Another starter, quality starter for them. I think for them right now, and I mentioned, remember I gave you a couple of names for outfielders to replace him temporarily. I said Adam Jones from Baltimore. Now, Adam may not have the numbers, but I think that you need players. But I think the guy that comes the most intriguing for them, because I think he could be a good DH. He gets on base. He has a proven, he's been very good for this team this year, Sin-Soo Choo. He can play that position in right field.
How much of that contract you want, man?
I think the Rangers will have to work that out like
Okay.
they did the Cole Hamels deal, which we'll talk about the Cole Hamels deal. But I like the deal for the Yankees. I thought that was very impressive for them because they shored up the bullpen. I think that you do need to worry about Judge. That's untimely. I don't know what they could do. You need to find an outfielder. And to me, I think like Chu would be perfect. I've been hearing rumors about Joey Gallo. People calling about Joey Gallo's power. Look, man, he might not hit you for 300 or 200, but man, when he hits the ball, he's knocking out the stadium.
He is instant power. Yes, sir.
So I think that a guy like him would be interesting. I like the Cole Hamels move.
Yes, Rangers trade Cole Hamels to the Cubs.
Yeah, I like that. I think that you throw him in there in that rotation, he becomes your 4th to 5th starter. Playoff experience helps that out a lot. maybe a change scenario for him is good.
Agreed.
I like that scenario for them. I don't know offensively they can do anything because like they're pretty much set. They haven't had any injuries, anything weird happen. So I like that move for them. Man, teams like Milwaukee are interesting because Milwaukee's like this team that they 1 week they were talking about Beltray. Now the Braves are mentioning Beltray.
Okay.
I would like to see what the Braves are going to do because the Braves are in a weird situation. They actually peaked at the wrong year. This is going to be the Braves next year. The Braves are already good. And now the ideal is this, they got 2 pitchers that are very good prospects that next year are going to be ready at age 20 and 21, along with all the 20-year-olds they got now. The only way they're going to get anybody good is if they give up one of those guys. And to me, do you bank that? Because I don't think they have a chance to win a World Series. I think, like, right now, I think in 2 years, that's going to be the team to watch out for with a couple of signings. Look, man, if Bryce Harper somehow looks over and says, hey, man, Albies, Kona, Freddie, I like them. Atlanta, close, I like to play for them. They're one player away, but to me, there's going to be a lot of different movement. I think the Rangers have a lot of intriguing players on their roster because of, like, the Nomar Mazar thing. You get Bartolo. Like, look, we laugh at Bartolo, but Bartolo may be a good fourth starter for somebody. He's giving the Rangers a lot of good work.
Or if anything, one of those long relief guys.
And you know what's crazy is this. The one guy I thought the Rangers were going to trade because he's been pretty much unstoppable this year for them is Keone Kellen. He has like 23 straight games of complete saves, no blown slaves. So he's been really good this year, but I don't know what they're going to do with that. But other than that, man, I think it's going to be a thing where teams are not going to want to give up prospects. Because a lot of teams are trying to build up on prospects. But if you look at all these trades, nobody is really giving up like top-notch prospects. So I want to see what they're going to do. I think the Nationals are a team that should be really considered. Like, I know that nobody wants to trade Bryce Harper, but like, look. If
Phone line's open.
Like, look, if the Yankees come and say, look, we're a little worried about Aaron Judge right now, I would be on the line for, look, it starts with third baseman, the young third baseman.
And Duhart?
Yeah.
And Torres?
It starts with him.
I don't think they give up Torres for Harper. But look, they got, like the Dodgers, like you said, you're not giving them top-level prospects. The Dodgers only gave up one top-10 prospect for Machado. I want to address your Braves thing before we go on break. And I think the Braves should make a move. Because when you look at them and the Phillies, right? The Phillies had to take the next step forward. That's why they paid Carlos Santana. That's why they paid Jake Arrieta. Like, you can't listen. As much of a fan of the process as I am, you have to decide when it's time to take the next grown step. And if you look at the Phillies, they've been in first and second place, pretty much the majority of the season. I do feel that to at least show your fans that you are trying to win. Maybe you may not finish it, but that you're trying to win and that you're trying to compete with the Phillies. I think you make a move, but I don't think you shake up the foundation of your team.
Because
thing, sir.
See, the name that's coming up right now, I think, and I was listening to Brian Kenny and a couple guys earlier, and the biggest name on the market right now is Jacob deGrom.
Yes, Mets pitcher.
And I think in order to get him, there's going to be a serious leverage there. And I don't think there's no way the Mets look up and say, you know what, we're going to give probably the best guy with the best ERA in baseball for just one prospect. Nah, bro, we're going to probably need one of them youngins. Look, if I'm them, I would go after that because then DeGrom helps the Braves going forward. He's your ace. You go get the young aces together, you're good. Even the Phillies, go get them. The Yankees, go get them because the Yankees right now are in a situation where they just got to go compete with Boston. And to me, I'm surprised that Boston hasn't made a move yet.
Well, they got Eovaldi. They may need another starting pitcher because the reports out of Boston are, Drew Pomeranz and a couple of their other starters aren't necessarily, performing up to task. Okay, let's take a break. When we come back, we will get to the NBA news, D-Wade, Clint Capella, and we will get Chris's inside story on what happened with this Yogi Ferrell situation. And we will immediately jump into the fight news. Mo Sports Talk on theafterparty.com.
This is Tim Brown, 1987 Heisman Trophy winner, 17-year vet,
Yeah.
9-time
Yeah.
Pro Bowler.
Yeah. Woodrow Wilson.